Ghostbusters Afterlife is a completely average movie, and that really hurts to say. I left feeling very underwhelmed. I'd had some big hopes for this one after it was effectively announced as damage control for that god-awful 2016 reboot, giving us that third instalment that we'd all been craving from two titanic blockbuster classics of the 80s that, we'd all been waiting for so long. Unfortunately, what we got was a pretty half-baked, and not for the first time in the last few months, incredibly rushed movie by Sony. Here's looking at you, Venom, let there be carnage. Ghostbusters Afterlife sees Carrie Coons, Kaylee Spengler, daughter of Dr. Egon Spengler, played by the late Harold Ramis, fall on hard times and inherit her estranged father's dilapidated old farm in the small town of Somerville. She moves there with her two children, Trevor, played by Finn Wolfhard of Stranger Things fame, and McKenna Grace's Phoebe, who is pushed as the stereotypical kid who's a little different and into science and is therefore weird. A trope, if I'm being honest, which feels a little dated, but I guess for the nostalgia vibes this movie's going for, it kinda makes sense. From here, we are introduced into the mystery of why Egon was here in the first place and what the true significance of Somerville really is. We are also given a perfectly fine and Paul Ruddy performance by, Paul Rudd. He feels somewhat underused considering his prevalence in the marketing, but more on that later. Now, I honestly can't put my finger on why this movie just didn't land for me, but if I had to try, it's got something related to the pacing. It just never quite picks up where it wants to go. One minute, we are slowly getting the connective dots to see how this links to the previous installments, and then in other sections, the characters seemingly cotton onto things in record time, accelerating the film where it needs to go without stopping for breath. It just all feels a bit choppy and messy and creates this weird end result where I sort of wish they'd just left the series alone at this point. It takes until the final act for any real proper payoff to happen, and again, even this feels a bit janky and shoehorned in for the sake of things. Although I must admit, the ending does contain a must-watch scene for all those hardcore fans of the franchise. I'm trying not to allude to any spoilers here, but obviously, take from that what you will. Overall, it's just an average film that had plenty of ideas and promise and could have easily excelled itself past what it ended up being. It holds on to a cast and an extended cast of great actors, yet it never really seems to utilise them to their full potential, sort of harking back there to what I was talking about with Paul Rudd. He's in it, but he's also not really in it, and it's really frustrating. It has some nostalgia highs with some cheeky winks and nods, but even that can't save it from itself. It simply, and rather sadly, just falls under the weight of its own franchise history for me. In my opinion, I think the phone needs hanging up the next time someone calls. Anyway, if you've seen it, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to chuck me a like and subscribe for more videos coming very soon. Also, don't forget to check out my podcast, Movie Mouthfuls, with the UK's #1 competitive eater, Beard Meets Food. Each week, we chow down on famous and, I guess sometimes, or most of the time, some not-so-famous cinematic cuisine scenes. You can find us here and also on your favourite podcast provider, just search for us. Anyway, that's it from me. Stay safe, and I'll see you in the next one. In a bit.